Hello everybody and welcome to Inside the Third Space podcast, where we talk about third space matters with real life third spacers. Today we have...
My name is Emina Abroon. I'm an education developer teaching fellows and professional development support in the Faculty of Law and Justice.
If we can know a bit more about your role, Emina, how long you've been here, what you do at UNSW, day-to-day kind of stuff, that'd be good.
Yeah, so I've only just started in this role for the past 3 months. I started in December, but I've been in the at UNSW for about a little bit over 3 years. So I worked in the business faculty. I actually wore 3 different hats there. So I was an education support officer mostly, but I was an education designer. I was a content developer as well. So sort of all in the same sort of EDD team at business, but very all similar sort of roles to what I am in now at Law and Justice as an education developer. But this is a new role, so there's obviously challenges that come with that. But I have also worked at another university, Western Sydney University, and I was there for about 5 years it was called over there Education Support Officer, but I was in a central team where now I'm in faculty-based roles.
It's interesting you say the different hats that you wore, because I feel like that's something that a lot of third space people feel, that they have a role or a job description, let's just say, but that's not always what they do. They always do a lot of other stuff as well. Would you say that's kind of indicative of the work you've done at university?
Yes. I started in mostly just an education technology sort of role, focusing purely on that because my background is in IT. So I sort of took the job not for the education part, but for the IT part. And I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. And then I think, and what a lot of people in this space feel, I think, is in order to progress or to get more skills, you start jumping around. You start picking up that secondment or that ITT or, to sort of further your skills to figure out if this is something you like or maybe you want to focus on something else. I think there's just a lot of things you can do in this space.
And so have you been on many ITTs?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been on many. When I was at Western, I went into a 3-year one there. So that was the first one. And then when I came over here in business, I did all those content developer, education designer, all those were ITTs. Okay. So my origins has always been support officer, education support officer, ed tech. Yeah. That's been my usually my ongoing. But the more I'm in this space, the more I'm investigating some other things that I'm liking and wanting to do.
Yeah. Me personally, ITTs have been great. I think the fact that the university is so wide, and UNSW especially, and there's such a variety of jobs out there. And like you said, it's been good in the fact that you never know what you'll actually like until you actually do it. And it has always been good for me personally to jump into those roles, try it, and you always know, okay, if I don't like this, I'm going back in 6 months to a role I already have. But I guess I've always been lucky in the roles I've done. I've really, really enjoyed and wanted to carry on that. So, yeah, I would suggest for anybody out there that has a chance to do ITTs, I definitely think a third space is a very, helpful in finding out what you want to do, because the third space can be very nebulous in that fact of not knowing what you want to do. Would you say that's kind of true for your role as well?
It's maybe put it in another way.
Yeah, has doing those ITTs help you to figure the path that you're on now and
yes.
Understand what you kind of want to get out of this career?
Yep.
And it's also strange we say career because, like you said, you were in IT focus at the beginning and I never thought I'd have a career doing this. When I first started, I was a technical officer, and now I'm an ed dev. I thought it would always be in the technical side. So, and again, like we said, in the next 2 years you might be doing something else. So
Yeah, like I think for me, I thought I'd just go deep into some IT sort of realm, do networking. I hated programming. I was never going to do that, but IT support wasn't something that I wanted to continue doing. That's what I started doing at at the university as a
yeah,
student casual. And when I saw the job, I was like, hey, this actually sounds like IT. Like, and this is the weird thing that also gets brought up, I think, for us, if you are doing the education technology sort of side of it. Well, you're IT. And it's like, well, no. Maybe in some instances, yes, we sort of act like that, but we want to help and build their capacity more so than doing the technical part. There's a whole other team for that. Like I found myself either going that way or coming this way, but weirdly, like when I was in high school, I wanted to be a high school teacher. So I've weirdly come full circle in a weird way. I've just stayed at the university. I've just not gone back to that. It helped me decide that this is what I cared about. I care about the IT stuff, but I find myself in a position where I want to bring the two together. And how can technology enhance the pedagogy stuff, and how can we make that better by using technology? Yeah, I've got all this really cool and amazing background, but we live in a tech-based world. That's all we're doing. And if you're not using it, then you're behind. So it's sort of trying to bring those two things together that I care about, because I've been in universities for so long, and finding what that is for me. And the answer is I don't love tech more than I love the education side. I love both. And I'm finding myself now, it has helped me figure out what I want to do.
and what you don't want to do
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Because I like the tech. I'm comfortable with the tech, but I like to be put in a I want to learn new things and give myself new challenges. And I love helping people and teaching people. And at the beginning, it wasn't about teaching the students; it was about teaching the teachers,
Yeah.
which I guess is a bit of a controversial way of like sort of putting it. But yeah, it has helped. It really has helped.
And it's also interesting saying about being in IT, or that the IT person, where you get asked, oh yeah, okay, my Moodle quiz, you can help me with that, but also you can help me with my email, or in that kind of respect. And it always reminds me, one of the biggest kind of like issues we have in the third space is where you want to be proficient and show expertise in a certain area, but you don't want to be pigeonholed as that person, because then you do have a lot less room to maneuver.
Oh my God. I am trying at the moment to focus on not just being the ed tech girl, or like that's all I know. I know a lot and I need to give myself more credit. Like I've started to, well, I'm nearly finished actually. I'm doing my master's in education. That's how serious I am about what I'm doing. And yes, I know all that stuff, but I know all these other things. I think it's just harder to get your point across in regards to the pedagogy sort of side of things. When it comes to IT, someone sort of comes to you and you answer the question, you help with the problem. Oh my God, you're awesome. But with the education side, it takes a little bit more time to get to that point, to plant the seeds and to finally sort of get your point across.
I think it's also value. I mean, a lot of educators are happy to say, look, I don't really care about IT or the value of IT, so I'm happy for you to do my IT for me. Not many educators are like, I don't care about the education. I know about the education, even if they don't know about the education. So I think it's harder to break those walls down to make those collaborations in certain areas, especially in areas that they deem more valuable, if that makes sense. But yeah, and it's also, I guess, you don't want to be pigeonholed to being this person or that person, but you want to have an expertise. You don't want to be that jack of all trades that can't do one thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think it's a blessing and a curse, because it's sort of like you become the go-to, and I do that to myself a lot. Like
Yeah,
but it's sort of like I just want to know those things so that I can help that person more, or direct them to the place that could help, or someone that could help
yeah,
with that. I think knowing things is important in like the third space, just being aware. And
yeah.
it's sort of like a weird thing to say out loud, but
No one thinks is important.
yeah.
But it's also, like you said, that balance, finding that balance. If you do become that expert, you are known for that. You don't want to be pigeonholed, but if you start not doing that, then who are you? And that sense of identity kind of maybe diminishes. Also, the reputations you build up along the way based on that one thing maybe diminishes as well. So I guess we've just created this third space community. Well, I mean, like get together, I guess, for people in the third space. But Emina, you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I think just regarding the third space, the first time I heard about it was when there was the session at the Education Festival, and I was like, oh, third space, what is that? The third space is something that I know I've always been in, but never had a name for it. It was something that I didn't know what it was called, but when I saw that name, I'm like, that's where I am, that's where I belong. And that's, I think, where a lot of people find themselves, but they have no idea what it's called. It's just a spot where we sort of don't quite fit in the academic or even the professional sort of spot. And when I saw the podcast, listened to the other podcasts, I'm dying to go talk to them and to get to know people from that area. And it was something that I've just wanted to start myself. So it's great to see that this space is being created. And if anyone feels like that out there, please reach out and just connect. Like, it's not too much of a heavy sort of thing to do, but please connect and join a network. I think it's very, very, very valuable.
Yeah, and this is one of the best parts of the third space. I mean, again, whenever you talk to people in this space, there was like, you see their eyes light up and they're like, yeah, that's it. I found my group of people I need to be with. I found the community. And pretty much every podcast we've done, people said the same thing. Some have known the first space and the term before, but a lot of people, yeah, I remember you saying this at this event, or that person said at that event, and it is like a light bulb goes on over their head. And that's what's been great about this process since we've got together, that sense of shared identity, and it's something that we hope to keep building in this space. So we've talked about some challenges many third spaces have, and you've talked about value in that building relationships with other stakeholders. Would you say there's other challenges you've come across in the third space?
Yeah, like I think one thing is definitely sort of proving or trying to explain why I'm important and like the purpose of my role and how I can be useful. Like, I think at the beginning of my journey, these roles were all really, really new, sort of like, what is this? Why are you here? Why are you trying to tell me how to do my job? I've been doing fine without you. And like, I think now it's like a little bit different where there's a lot more of us. It's a lot more normal. There's teams. It's not just like one sole person or two people working in an entire like centralized sort of team, right? I think I still find myself struggling sometimes to be like, well, this is how I can help you. This is where I can guide you on maybe some changes you can make with your course learning outcomes or your assessment structure. Not because there's nothing wrong with how you have it now, but there are some new things that have come up that could, impact that, especially like generative AI and things like that. So I think sometimes just fighting and trying to explain the purpose of myself is hard.
Yeah, and also just trying to have those diplomatic skills to make your role work, I guess, is the hardest part, because like you say, some people do get defensive about their education, and it's understandable if they've taught that way for a certain amount of years and it's gone well. There is that aspect of like, what do you know? Why are you here telling me what I need to do? So that's definitely a challenge that many people in the first space feel. What advice would you give people new to the system, or who would consider themselves third space? What would you say to them, or I guess to yourself, those years ago when you first started, you had ideas of IT, what would you go back and say to do?
I wouldn't change anything. I think when you find yourself in this space, it can literally take you in so many directions, whether that is on the educational technology, whether it's on the video production, the podcast sort of stuff, media creation, or if it's the education sort of design. Don't limit yourself to one thing. I would say figure out or get a sprinkle or a taste in your team that you start in of what everyone does, and you'll start to find what you like. Sort of ride the wave, if that makes sense. I would tell myself to also go with the flow.
Yeah.
Um, if your aim is to be a manager or to lead projects, all these things are possible in this space. Like, it's literally endless. I would say there's a bit of like every role, or like anyone could really step into these roles. Like, it's such a diverse sort of thing. You can have no education sort of experience whatsoever, step in and still find something that will fit for you. That's sort of the best way that I can describe it.
Find where you fit, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the way to put it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emina, for joining us and sharing your insights. To the listeners, thank you for tuning into Inside the Third Space. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the third space.